Hey, everybody. My name is Fred Kennedy. I will be hosting this incredible panel. It's going to be vibrant, dynamic, filled with interesting conversational questions. If you guys got anything you want to ask, just go to the microphones right over there. See them? Does everybody see the microphones? Okay, good. Do you want me to bring out the panelists? Toby Proctor, everybody. And Linda Ballantyne. I didn't know whether to bring you guys out one at a time or like stage it and bring you both out. So whatever, it's all good. There we go. Come on, Toby. Sit over here, buddy.
Sit here.
Yeah, it's a slidey couch.
Lindy.
Very slidey couch. So first of all, I'm just going to start out with something like a little bit generic. Like, what was the audition process for you guys to get a gig like this? And when you got it, were you like, cool, I have no idea what this is?
Yeah, pretty much. I was brought in to do a reading. My agent said, hey, go for this audition. And I had never really done voice. I'd been an actor for a long time, but went in and read a paragraph and did that and walked away. My agent called me and said, hey, congratulations, you got Sailor Moon. I'm like, that's great, what's Sailor Moon? Yeah. And I said, that thing you did. And I went in the next week, and then I found out that my guy wears a tuxedo all the time, and that his major power is throwing shrubbery. So it took some time to get used to it, but it was like any job that you end up getting, it was luck. It's a beautiful bit of luck, yeah.
For me, it was very different because I was the third Sailor Moon. So the show was already established when I got in there. And so I get a call from my agent saying, okay, you've got an audition. I'm like, oh, great. What's it for? It's Sailor Moon. Oh, my nieces watch that show. This should be fun. That I can show off. And they were auditioning for all the different characters because Katie was, I think she was off in
Katie
LA.
Sailor Mars, you mean?
Katie Sailor Mars was off in LA, and some of the other ones were gone. So it was like, okay, we're going to be auditioning you. And I was like, okay. And I'm going into this audition, and then that day, I got so sick. I was so sick. And you know those days when you're like, I feel great. And I'm just going, oh my God. And it was this cold that was just stuck in my head. And I'm just like, I don't feel good. And so I go in there and I'm like, okay, I'm not talking to anybody because I'm going to lose my voice. I lose my voice all the time. It's what I do because I do it for a living. So I go in there and I'm just sitting there quietly, getting more and more sick. And everybody in the waiting room sort of like, what's wrong with Ballantyne? She's not talking at all. I'm just like. So when I went in there, it actually kind of helped me being sick because my nose was all stuffed up and everything. And Terry, the way she did Sailor Moon, it was a lot more in her head. So she had this sort of like higher thing that was sort of in her nose a little bit more. And when I did it, I sounded exactly like Terry. And it was like, oh, wow, I'm doing this. Oh, and they're like, this is exactly what we want. This is exactly what we want. So I do it, and they're like, oh my God, she's exactly what we want. This is awesome. And then I'm not sick anymore. And I'm sitting there going, what am I gonna do? I'm not sick. And so first of all, my agent phoned up and said, so you got Sailor Moon? And I'm like, great, what part? And they said, Sailor Moon. I went, oh my God, I got the part of I'm Sailor Moon? Like, I'm Sailor Moon. Oh my God. So I went downstairs to my husband, who was downstairs with his buddy Tony, and they're in the basement. And I went, I just got Sailor Moon. And my husband goes, oh, no way, what part? Like, I got Sailor Moon. And he's like, oh, way to go, babe. And his buddy Tony goes, well, you better be good because my kids watch. And then I went, what have I done? And for me, there were two Barneys, two voices of Barney. One I loved, one I hated. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm the new Barney. I'm the new Barney. What am I going to do? What am I going to do? And I was panicky. And now I'm not sick anymore. And I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? And I actually had thoughts that I should be shoving Kleenex up my nose That'll make me more nasal. So it took me a while, and they kept getting me to go higher and higher and more shrill, and it was a lot of screaming, and I hated it. I hated it. I was sitting there going, I don't want this character to be like this. So it took me a little while to sort of get into the rhythm of it and go, no, I'm making this my own now. And that was my story behind the audition.
So thank you, bacteria, for making it happen.
Yes. Yes.
Young lady.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Thanks for coming today, you guys. This is really great.
We actually just happened to be in the area.
I know.
figured,
You just
I guess I
stopped
have a
by.
Comic-Con. We could go inside. And
Yeah,
say
you just
hi.
saw people with T-shirts and costumes and thought you should follow them in somewhere. I have a question for Linda specifically about women in voice acting, and I wondered if you had any sort of, if you think women in voice acting maybe face any specific challenges.
Yes.
Yes. And
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the reality about acting for women. Number one, there are twice as many women acting as men. Literally, twice as many. But there are roughly something like 6 times more parts for men than there are for women. So men have this huge amount of parts, women have this tiny little amount of parts, but there's a huge amount of them and not as many of them. So it's really frustrating. We get so angry. That's one of the reasons why Sailor Moon was such a huge thing for us as actors. Like, we went in there going, oh my God, there are 5 strong women, 5 lead female parts. And this other guy, who showed up late all the time.
I said nice things, very supportive things. Believe in yourself, Sailor Moon.
It's definitely a struggle for women for sure, but doing little boy parts is awesome. Learn if you're looking to become a voice actor, if you're a woman and you want to do cartoons, definitely be looking into doing the little boys if you can do that, because that's awesome, and little girls. Although a lot of kids can act now. Who taught them? And thanks a lot for that. But it is the best job in the entire world.
thank you.
How do you recommend throwing together like a demo tape if you want to get a part? Do you go through an agent with a demo? Do you find an agent, then make a demo?
Well, you know, it's really different now than when we started. When we started, there weren't computers, really.
Or escalators.
So we did it old school. You know, you go into a recording studio, you record your voice, you do a whole bunch of different things, you put it together, and you make a demo. Now you've got a computer that you can just go, play, let's do this, man. And you can play around. I would highly recommend going onto a site called voicebank.net. Voicebank.net. That has all of the demos of all the actors in North America easily, and maybe even all over the world, I'm not sure. My demo's on there, you can listen to it, and then you can hear what sort of, what's in, what people are doing, the types of things that they do on a demo. But just keep it short, nothing long, like a minute and a half, that's it, that's all you do.
You, sir.
Okay, I guess this kind of follows up to being primarily for Toby based on the timing of it. I was old enough when Sailor Moon came out to kind of notice that there wasn't really advertising, there wasn't really merchandising. At what point in the process did you realize how big and iconic of a property it was going to turn out to be in the West?
I have a really good story on that. So just as we were doing Sailor Moon, I was also doing the voice of Flash Gordon at the exact same time. Everybody thought Flash Gordon was going to be a huge success. It kind of did its one season, went away, and then this bear of a show, Sailor Moon, stayed, and it was amazing. But it was just on air for maybe about 2 months, and I was in Toronto on a streetcar, and it was really crowded, and I looked up the aisle, and there's this little kid with a tuxedo mask backpack, and I was like, what is that? Like, because it definitely looked like it was made for real, not like someone marketed it. So I was trying to see the kid, and the kid left. I was like, darn it. And so I checked it out, and sure enough, that's when the merchandising just hit. Like, there was, stores like full of this stuff. And I remember calling my brother and saying, Kelly, they have a backpack, like tuxedo mask backpack. I was, oh, no way, like someone drew it? Like, no. Like, this is the real deal. So I think it was that backpack that I knew, okay, there's something going on here. And then right after that, you just saw it everywhere, like everything. I remember Blockbuster Video going in to rent a video one time, and there's these little kind of squishy little tuxedo mask things. I'm like, and it's like, it's hard to say, but it's like, that's me. It's me. Like, Okay, Crazy Bones, get out of here. Like, enjoy your movie. So that's when it hit me.
Was there ever any merchandise that you guys saw come out that you're like, that is just inappropriate?
Yes. Yes, lots. Lots. I have signed feminine napkins. Sailor Moon feminine napkins.
With the lunar cycle, it completely makes sense. So I'm just saying.
It all makes sense.
It does. It all fits. It all fits.
Nice.
Thank you for there.
Hi. This is for both of you, actually. Well, I grew up watching Sailor Moon in its reruns, and I still watch it because that's what you do in high school. But I was wondering, did you think, I was getting big, but do you think that there would be like 10 years after the show, or how many years later, that there'd still be people like teenagers, even older, and even still little kids that are just like, oh my goodness, Sailor Moon! Like Sailor Moon just like kind of stayed
We
forever.
had no idea, zero idea. In fact, it was about 3 years ago, I think it was, that a fan reached out to me on Facebook. I had a fan. And I was like, oh, look at this. Somebody's writing to me about Sailor Moon. Oh my God, Sailor Moon. How long ago did I do that? Oh my God, how old am I? And so he said, would you consider going to this Comic-Con? And I was like, what's a Comic-Con? Weird person. And he describes what a Comic-Con was, and I was like, oh, I don't think that they would be very interested in having me. And he said, with all due respect, I think that they would be. And I went, I don't think they would be. Crazy person. And then he goes on to tell me about cosplay, and I'm like, cosplay? What is this of which you speak? So he explains this to me. I'm like, oh my God, this is weird. He says, please would you go to this Comic-Con? Please. And I was like, I really don't think they're going to be interested at all. And I honestly believed this with everything I had, without a word of a lie. So I said, but I will reach out to them and I'll see. And I'm thinking, I'm not reaching out to them. They're not interested. And then I went, oh, really? Is that what you're going to do, Linda? You're going to lie to your fan? One fan. So I was like, fine, okay, I'm gonna do it. So I write to these people. I'm like, hello, I'm Linda Ballantyne. I was the voice of Sailor Moon. I don't know if you'd be at all interested in having me, but I have a fan who would like to meet me. And they wrote back right away, yes, we would love to have you. And I'm like, you do realize I said Sailor Moon, right? And then I'm going, oh God, now I've got to go to this thing. And I'm thinking, oh my God, they're going to throw rotten fruit at me. They're going to say, who are you? We don't want you here. Get lost, lady. Who are you? So then I thought, well, if I could bring someone with me, then like Katie Griffin, Sailor Mars, I could use her as a human shield. So I called, hey, Katie, what are you doing? Do you feel like going to this Comic-Con? Sure! Sucker. So I go to this Comic-Con. I literally was going, no one is going to be there. I'm going to look like an idiot. There, my one fan, Jack Buchanan, that's what his name is. Still remember him. He'll be just sitting there all by himself. And then he'll be reaching under his seat and getting his rotten fruit out. So I get there, and this woman who's dressed as something, I don't know what she was dressed as. She looked a little bit, I don't know what she was dressed as. She walked over and she saw that I had this badge that said Linda Ballantyne, Sailor Moon, and she looked at it and she went, Linda Ballantyne. Yes. Sailor Moon. Yes. Now I've met two of you. And then she walked away. If this is what this is, I'm going to be just fine with it. It was a little bit bigger than this. Suddenly there was this, and it was like, what just happened? This is crazy. And then I realized how important it is. The show is so important to so many people, and I had no idea. You just don't know. So that's why we love coming to these Comic-Cons, because it's like, You know, you guys, you all have your own stories of why you watched it, what it meant to you, what you know, a lot of people are, you know, got me through a really rough time and everything. But you guys were also there for us when we were doing it because we were really kind of starting out our career, right? So we had this perfect relationship, and now it's like, I love going to Comic-Cons. I'll go. No rotten fruit so far. Just Toby.
I'm right here, Linda.
Oh, sorry.
You, Miss Quinn.
Hi. I'm kind of short, sorry. I was wondering if you guys have ever gone to cons cosplaying your characters.
No, I've never done that at a convention, but there was a fan fiction show in Toronto that I was asked to do, where it was great. It was an awesome crossover. It was The Bachelor. So I was a bachelor in the Sailor Scouts for the Bachelorettes.
That sounds really
And,
spicy.
and part of the deal was the promoter asked me if I had actually dressed up, and I'm like, sure. And then as soon as I did, like, oh no, what did I do? It was actually a lot of fun. So it's only really happened once. I've thought about it, but
How did the rose ceremony go?
you know what? I actually ended up with Sailor Moon's dad. Well, because she was spending so much time at school, we got to be good and close during the daytime. That was the fan fiction that was not for children.
It's like, I'm going to have to cut you off at the pass there, man.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
Hello, I've thankfully had the pleasure to pass on Sailor Moon to my daughter. She absolutely loves it. But why do you think it resonates so well with the younger crowds and everybody? Why do you think it attaches so much to our hearts over all these years?
You know, I think a big part of it, especially for women, is the fact that there's 5 strong women, but they were all such unique personalities. You know, you had like the sort of tomboyish one, the sort of hot, sexy one, the goofball, the brainy one. You know, you had it all there. The bitchy one, Mars. Sorry, no offense. Bitchy.
You're on fire today. You're just drawing lines in the sand
I know,
all over.
I really am. But I think there was something for everybody, and everybody could relate to somebody in it. And, you know, everybody could say, this is who I am, but this is who I want my best friend to be, or this is who my best friend is. And maybe they'd reach out and they'd say, oh my God, I watch the show too, and she's me, and you're who. So I think that that's a huge part of it anyways.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi. My question is for Linda. Sailor Moon cries a lot.
What are you saying?
And there's a lot of dramatic screaming, and I'm I'm a singer, and I know as soon as if I get the least bit snuffly or you know, and any kind of crying or anything like that, my voice is just, it's toast.
Gone.
So I was wondering how you managed to do the realistic crying and screaming and still have a functional voice.
I didn't. Next question. No. It was hard. I lost my voice all the time. All the time. And so what I did was I said to them, okay, first of all, you're getting me for 4 hours, no more. And the other guys were going in for 8 hours. 8 hours? You know how hard that is? It is exhausting, and it's so hard on the vocal cords. So I said, look, I'm going to go in for 4 hours at a time because I can't do more, because it's also a high voice for me. I don't have a high voice. And I also said, we're going to leave all of the screaming and stuff until the end of the show, so I can actually get the lines out. But I would wake up every single morning, and if I could go, then I would know, okay, I'm okay. But most mornings I wake up and go, and I would go, stupid voice. And I'd be walking around trying to warm myself up, and I'd be warming myself up in the morning. As soon as I'd get, and I'd be walking around going, and my little 1-year-old was walking behind me. She couldn't talk, and she'd go, I'd say, are you making fun of me? And she'd go, so adorable that kid was. Oh my God. Yeah, but I was losing it. I lost it all the time.
So
you.
when you guys were doing your VOs and stuff, were you ever all together as a group, or would you go in one at a time and just listen to it on the headphones?
Mostly one at a time. I know there was a few times that you went in to the booth with other Sailor Scouts.
Well, sometimes Mars, because if we were having an argument, every show. No. But every now and then I get to go in with Mars and we'd have a great argument, and that's always fun because I love Katie.
Did it stick with the script, or were you guys improvising as you went?
The arguments we were usually just doing off the top of our heads. Like, you just see that mouth start moving. It's like, I can't believe you're doing this. You know, we just go off on our little tangent, and we'd end up going at the end to each other. Something along those lines. But I also did it, I went in with Renee a lot, with little Minnie Moon. She's this tall in real life. Maybe that tall. That voice is her voice. Every day she wakes up with that voice.
Wasn't she just in the movie, the blah, 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 need wedding date movie?
Yes, she was the bride in it. She's adorable. She's lovely.
And it all started with Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Right there. Look at that.
Well,
Look
no,
at that.
she was on YTV, I believe, wasn't she?
Yeah, it's her.
Yeah.
Sugar.
Yep, Sugar Baby. Sugar Baby.
Oh, me. Hi again. So I have a question for both of you. I just kind of wanted to know, what was your favorite kind of episode or line that you guys ever recorded during Sailor Moon?
I would say, well, favorite episode would probably be episode 30 Day of Destiny, when they're in the elevator and they discover each other's identity. That everybody's like, really? 29 episodes? You didn't know that this was the same guy? That's crazy. It was a little bit frustrating. But I would say, like, any line, like, for me, at least for, like, a hook line, I'd always say, like, hey, Meatball Head, what are you doing here? I thought for sure you'd be over there with your friends, especially since you're acting like total fools. That's my favorite.
I liked when Sailor Moon was drunk, on juice, and then she was hungover afterwards. On juice.
It's so plausible.
I love that.
It was wine in the manga, to be fair.
But I also love, though, when the more serious stuff started happening and everybody was sort of dying around her and she digging deep. I loved that stuff. I loved it because it just felt so good. And I'm watching it, right? We didn't get scripts. We didn't know what was going on in the show at all. So if you had a lot of lines, you could follow the storyline. So I had lots of lines. I was like, oh, what's going to happen this week? This is great. So I'm watching the show and everybody's sort of dying around me and I'm like, and I've got to voice it right and I'm just watching it for the first time and saying the words at the same time. I'm like, no. And they're like, Linda, that was your voice. And I'm like, can I have a minute, please? Just keep it going. They're just like, Linda, let's get this thing done. They wanted it done fast. It was fast and furious.
Hi. I was wondering if you could say your favorite line from the first episode you voice acted for, in your as your characters.
Are you kidding me? I can't remember every line I've done.
I can sometimes not even find my own shoes, let alone, I don't know what that would be.
I don't know. I have no idea.
I know I probably said something like, Serena.
Oh, Darian, you're so romantic.
And then I'd say something like, hey, where's Sailor Mars?
Oh. Get lost, Buster.
You look like you're going to cry. That's amazing. I'm not happy you're crying. I'm just happy that you're happy is really what it is.
Sailor
Okay,
Moon tears are
moving
the
on to
best
this
part.
gentleman over here.
Sorry, my voice is kind of scratchy. This question for Linda. Coming into like S and Super S, the character's kind of established sort of already. Was there any kind of conflict with the director saying like, well, we want the character to continue like this and things are changing like this? Was there any kind of things like that going on?
No, not really. No, they were, like I said, it was hard to begin with. Like, they really wanted me screechy, and just a lot of, and I was like, ah. And I was really, really frustrated with it. Like, I would literally come home crying without a word of a lie. I would get in the car afterwards, I'd be like, I hate this. I hate the way she screams all the time. They want me to go higher and higher. And it made me so frustrated. And every day I'd come home to my husband and say, I hate this part right now. It makes me so frustrated. He'd say,
You guys should all be grateful. Look at her over here. All of you.
bawling my eyes out. And he'd say, you have to make this your own. I go, you don't know what you're talking about. And I really, really struggled with it a lot. And I kept going in there and screaming my guts out and losing my voice and coming home crying. And he'd say, you got to make this your own. I'd be like, And then finally one day I could feel everything tensing up before I went in. I'm driving into work and I'm just like, ooh, and it felt like work. Voiceovers never feel like work to me, ever. But this was stress. And I'm going, this is so wrong. I'm going, okay, Linda, if you were going to start from the very beginning, what would you do? What would you do with this character? And I said, well, I'm saying this to myself in my car like a crazy person. I went, you know what? I would look at it. How would I do it? Let me think. And I went, well, this is a teenager. Teenagers are complicated orders. On the one hand, they're kids. They're little kids that just want to have a lot of fun. On the other hand, they're emerging adults and they want to be treated as adults. So I'm sort of going, this is what I would do. And I went, click. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make this my own. And that's exactly what I did. From that day, that's when I sort of brought it down more. And I just went, I'm not going for this screechy thing. I'm not doing that. And they didn't try to change me at all. They were just like, okay, go, whatever. I don't even think they noticed. I just kept going. And I came home that day and I was like, I had the best day. And my husband said, did you record Sailor Moon today? I did. I finally figured it out. And he goes, no way, really? I said, yeah, I just had to make it my own. My husband's a very patient man.
Thanks, Linda.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, so this is kind of complicated, but I'll keep it brief. I grew up with Sailor Moon at the age of like 4. Yes. And you talk about all the merchandise. I think I bought it all. So well, Dad did, so you're welcome. But now I'm a gender and women's study major, and I watched it with the gender and women's study sort of feminist lens. And as much as I love Sailor Moon, because I really fucking do. But it's not very female empowering, and I think because of all the whining. But you seem to think she was a strong female character. I was wondering if you could try to say why that is.
What a strong female character is?
Why you think Serena was a strong female character?
You know why I think she was a strong female character? That's a good question. No one's ever asked me that. I think it's because she did let herself be herself. She was not afraid to make mistakes. And I think there is so much strength in that on its own. Oh my God, I'm gonna get misty thinking about this. I love the fact that she could fall down and she made big time mistakes, big time. But she'd pick herself up and keep going. And I love that. I love it. So that's why I think she was a strong woman.
Okay.
Flawed.
Hello. I was just wondering if you had a favorite character in the series. Like, I know you both play like Sailor Moon and Tuxedo Mask.
Whose was yours, Toby?
Well, Linda, person I'll probably travel with very soon. You know, Sailor Moon, obviously, she's the
Really?
lead. Yes.
Wow.
I usually say Sailor Mars just to bug her. But she's almost near tears. I thought, maybe we can get her to tears. No. Yeah, you know, it's Sailor Moon. It's an amazing character. And like you said, and I have daughters too, and I love the fact that there's some role models, strong but different and not perfect. You know, I think being a strong anything isn't necessarily being one thing constantly. It's being able to have like what you were just saying, just being human. And I think that was the element, and I think Sailor Moon embodies that. So
I actually love Sailor Mars too. I love Jupes and Mars. But I love Mars because I love the fact that she always called Serena out on stuff. And she'd just be like, are you kidding me? And she was just, that's why they got in so many arguments. Mm-hmm. So for my money, they were best friends as far as I was concerned, because they could tell each other anything. And they did.
Although a few of the villains were pretty cool too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This question's less about the show and more about you guys as actors, and maybe doing the show influenced what you guys would desire to work as, but either live action or animated, what would be the role you would love to do?
Every role out there.
Huh.
It's funny, like long term.
Yeah,
you can do this in a lot of things.
I've done more on camera stuff than I have actually voiceover work. I'm more known for my voiceover because of Sailor Moon, but I've done more on camera work. I I personally like on camera better only because it's a bigger process. I do love the ease of voice work where you kind of just show up, you say some lines, and out you go. But I like to do the job, and I like to be around it a lot. And sometimes, when you're doing voice, you're only in the room for maybe 2 hours. Where, sometimes when you're on set, you get to, like I did an episode of Heroes Reborn or Rain, and, that will take sometimes like 16 hours in the day, and I get to hang out with cool people. And actually, because ultimately that's what I like. I like the people element of filmmaking or this process. The show business side of it is a secondary element, but I would say, it's I don't know. I would love to be on a series again. I did Police Academy, the series years ago. I played Tackleberry for 26 one-hour episodes, and I basically got to shoot guns and drive cars really weird and be pretty stupid.
So Lethal Weapon would be more your speed then?
Totally. Yeah, something like that. I don't know, where I could just go into work every day and just, getting a script under your door every day is a really cool thing. And that would be my wish.
So they're like, it's very clandestine. They show up at your house and just slide it under the door.
Totally, yeah. And sometimes you're like a script. Because before that, you're literally doing nothing. You're just twiddling your thumbs. Yeah, it's kind of sad.
I hate on-camera stuff, and it hates me. We hate each other. We have no problem saying that to each other either. But you know what I would love? I would like to be Indiana Jones. Yes, I would. And I'm stopping right there.
Thank you.
Hi. I was wondering what the weirdest fan interaction you guys have ever sort of like.
Oh, God. You've already said the feminine napkin. I want to see you top it. That's really what I'm waiting for.
There's a lot of them, man. We get a lot of... we had one great fan one time. Toby goes off to the washroom. He's gone off somewhere. And this girl comes over. I don't know what she's dressed as. I never know what anybody's dressed as. I just go, wow, you look great. This one, however, had this dryer hose thing around her head, sort of like this, and like maybe a piece of material here, maybe, and 2 pieces of blue duct tape, this big, right there, and nothing else. And I'm like, oh my God. She had a rockin' hot body. Let's just get that out of the way. But I'm just like, oh my God. And I'm like, she said, oh my God, I'm a huge Sailor Moon fan. I love Sailor Moon so much. Oh my God, she's going on and on. I'm just sort of going, look away, Linda, look away. And I said, well, did you know that Tuxedo Mask himself is here? And she goes, oh my God. And I said, actually, he'll be back in a couple of seconds. And I'm thinking, what'd you get for me for Christmas, Toby? And I'm sitting there waiting. She goes, oh, he'll love this. And I'm like, oh yeah, he will. Oh yeah, he will. So Toby comes along, dum-ba-dee-dee-dum. And I'm like, Toby, there's somebody who'd like to meet you. He's like, oh, no way, who? Turns around and goes, I'm a married man. And then she goes, can I have a hug? And I'm like, it was pretty great.
Yes, and we're expecting it. No, I'm joking.
So what was she dressed as?
I don't know.
I have no idea, but it wasn't a lot.
Duct tape and a dryer hose.
Cheryl from Archer.
That's like my favorite comic from Image, actually. That's
Yes.
wild.
Have you seen Sailor Moon Crystal?
Little bits of it, not a lot of it, some of it. Everybody's saying, do you like it? Do you like it? I like the fact that it's given the fans something more. Because everybody waited for so long, right? And they're all like, please, give us more. So this has started the conversation up again. It's brought the younger fold into the whole thing, and so I love it for that. But I really haven't seen very much of it.
Me neither.
Oh, Mike's been dropped, figuratively, obviously. Sound guy's like getting very upset at that.
What I wanted to ask from both of you was, over the period of playing your characters, is there anything you learned from them, like as a character particularly, that changed you in any way?
Well, the whole thing of making it your own, that definitely I learned from this one for sure.
I really liked when Darian was being nice and somewhat romantic. That was cool. I like that. And I think there should be more of that in some animation. But playing the jerk was strangely kind of fun. It was, because I don't think I'm not a jerk. I hope
Dude, you've
not.
been taking emotional abuse the whole time you've been
Yeah,
on stage. You're
thank
not a
you.
jerk.
Thank you, Fred. I appreciate that.
You're
Linda.
a great guy.
Yeah, thank you. But you know what? Oh my gosh. Drink it in, Linda. No. You know, but playing the jerk was it was interesting, but it was like, oh man, that's kind of crappy. But I don't know if you answered your question, but it was yeah, that would be my thing.
I just like looking deep into what the teenage girl was like. That's what I learned from mine. So sort of going, okay, stop and consider what the character is you're playing. Like think of all of it. I guess that's what I learned from her, because I was pretty new back then.
Oh, and you're also allowed to wear a tuxedo every day.
Yes.
That's what I learned, that it's okay.
Okay, hearing you guys talk about your voice work and acting and all that, what was your very first paid gig?
Not just animation.
Not just animation, like your first paid gig where you got paid to act, be it a commercial or a TV show or anything,
Well,
or voice acting even a pro VO.
I did a beer commercial for a beer from out here, I think it was. Oh, what was it called? Not Keith's.
Schooner.
No, not Schooner. Not Moosehead. Alpine. And it's funny because it was my first commercial, right? And so then they've got the can, and I'm like, can I take one of these cans home? Because this is my first thing I've ever done. They're like, sure. And I'm like, I sacred can. Without a word of a lie, what was I then? It was 800 years ago. It was seriously probably pretty close to 30 years ago. About 3 years ago, the can is still in my cupboard. And my husband's like, now can we get rid of it? Now can we get rid of it? And I'm like, babe. So he's like, brings it out one day at Christmas, and he goes, can you believe this? Linda's still got this bloody can. And his cousin, the idiot, says, I'll have it. Can I have it? And Jim's like, yes. You can have this 30-year-old can of beer. And I'm like, no, my baby. So he took the can of beer, warm, and he drank that sucker.
What happened?
He said it was good. Idiot.
That's crazy. What was it? Sorry, I'm sleeping.
Your very first pro gig.
Okay. My very first pro gig, I was actually on stage. I did Oliver at the Laughing Waters Festival when I was 8. And I was living up there without my parents for 4 months at a time. And I was billeted to this family. And I would ride my bike to the theater and do the show.
Were you Oliver?
I was Oliver.
Can you do the, please, sir, can I have some more?
Please, sir, I want some more. No, I'm not going to do that. Yeah. More. Yeah, it was really fun. Like, I mean, I was a young actor, and right after that, I went to Charlottetown Festival actually, and did Anne there, but I did the lead in Little Lord Fauntleroy. Again, away from my parents for about 4 months. But everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe they let you do that." They're like, "Why would they do that?" I'm like, "No. That was good for me. Like, I was a rat in a cage. If they wouldn't let me do that, I was a weird little kid. I had like a briefcase, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, that's so cute. What do you have in there? Do you have like cars and stuff?" Like, no, I have headshots and contracts. I was like straight up business.
I used to carry around a plastic bag with a potato. Apparently, until I was like 2, I carried around a plastic bag with a
what's
potato.
crazy though? That seems to be cooler than me in a briefcase.
I don't know. We got time for one more question. You get the last one, bud.
Oh, that's excellent, because actually Darian's my name, so I love.
Are you named
Sailor
after?
Moon. No, named after the last Boy Scout, but I used
But we
to
can
tell
pretend.
everybody-
Let's just pretend.
I used to tell
That's also
everybody.
a really good movie, man. It's really good.
It is. My question is actually, have you guys ever seen a costume that really hit it out of the park that you were so incredibly impressed with?
Yes.
I've seen a ton at Hal-Con, but I'm wondering if there's been any.
When I was in Boston, this guy came up, and it was probably the funniest rendition of Tuxedo Mask. He was Tuxpedo Mask. Yeah, I was like, oh wow, that is, talk about look away. Like, nice to meet you. I hope I'm shaking your hand. Yeah.
I love the steampunk ones. That's cool. That's really cool. That's sort of a new thing that I'm going, wow, steampunk's cool. Are you kidding? We have seen so many there's awesome costumes here. Oh my God.
I
they're amazing.
was this close this year when we were at Fan Expo. I was gonna come cosplay as Sailor Moon. I was really ill-fitting. I was hoping for.
Okay,
but
if you
I
do
couldn't
that, I'll do
find it.
Tuxedo Mask.
Wow.
I'd do that in a heartbeat. You're not getting me in
You're
that
gonna
skirt.
give out barf bags at the beginning.
Oh my God.
Wow.
If I got into her costume, I'd have to do crunches for like a couple of days anyways.
I thought you were gonna say decades. Sorry.
I meant that.
And we are done.
Yeah.
A round of applause for Toby and Linda, everybody.
Okay, wait. This is ridiculous. Whenever you do panels and they don't ask you to do your call, who are you people? What is wrong with you? I'm doing it. I'm doing my call. All right, are you ready? Hair out of face. Moon Cosmic Power! Thank you. Come and see us. Come and see us. We're signing autograph stuff. Come by and say hi for sure.
Hal-Con.